England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of our field gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
Welcome everybody, this is the match debate, one day earlier than normal. We got so excited we wanted to match debate earlier, and I'm joined by the lovely, well I was going to say foursome, including myself, it's a foursome, but we've got a fantastic threesome of blokes here. We've got down below Mr. Stephen Wilding. Hello to you, sir.
Hello mate, how you doing?
Very good. To the right of him on screen, we've got Mr. Jimmy Nicholson down in Melbourne.
That's right, I am in Melbourne, thank you for that.
And right above him, we do have our Alison Becker lookalike, Peter the Coach Kofinas.
There you go. Unfortunately, I'm not in Madrid with Alison or like him, but at least we're free here in New South Wales. Sucked in Jimmy.
That's true. We are free indeed. Unfortunate, commiserate. Your time's nearly up though, isn't it, Jimmy? You'll be free again soon.
Yeah, my time is up in a positive sense. I will still be here for future
yes.
shows.
Context,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to kick the bucket on Thursday. Thankfully, we're going to open up on Thursday, which is fantastic. So we'll be back in line with the rest of the country, which is good.
Fantastic. All is well. All is good. And you know what? All is well as well with Liverpool FC because, man, for all our worries when it came to this game against Watford, at the end of the day, we were worried for nothing because we ended up pumping them 5-0. The starting lineup, I think, Steve, was it you who messaged our group chat, said, just wait for the shitstorm to happen once the starting lineup, even though it's a forced decision and it's not done on purpose by Klopp. He had to because no Alisson and no Fabinho.
Yeah, I could see it coming. And like you said, Klopp's hand was forced. There was only a couple of variations he could do to the squad that was picked, but I had a feeling that it was going to be the Milner, Henderson, Naby midfield. I think a few others in here were expecting a bigger performance from Ox, but I had a feeling it was those three. And when it was announced, I was thinking, here we go, it's going to kick off. But Twitter was tame. I was disappointed. But it was, like you said there, the game was set up for early morning kickoff. First game back after international break. First game for the new manager, away to Watford, who were the team who basically fucked us up the year we won the league. They were the first team to beat us. So all the fingers were pointing towards this is going to be tough. This is going to be tricky. Then you add in the players that are missing. The title says it there. Worried for nothing. Yeah. It was just...
Man, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but when you actually don't know what's happening, it's really hard to judge. And truth be told, I was out first gig after lockdown. I was back to DJing, and actually I got a notification saying 30 minutes till kickoff, and I just went, kickoff for what? We're playing at 1 a.m. And then he said Liverpool's kickoff 10:30 p.m. I thought, okay, this is interesting. And I hate football games on while I'm DJing because it makes me nervous because I'm trying to watch a game or keep tabs on the game. So I'm like, you know what? Mute notifications. Stupid me, I forgot to mute the group chat notifications, and every time there was a goal scored, it just kept on coming. So there was a bit of nerves there. But Peter, we saw the comment there from Chris Wells saying he was expecting Ranieri to be sacked. You said before we just started, Ranieri got it completely wrong compared to our performance, our team. What do you think? He went so defensive. It was like 5-4-1 effectively.
You know what? It kind of felt like he said to the boys during the week at training, listen, just fuck this game off. Let's just write this one off and let's just start fresh on Sunday. Like, honest to God, that there, I remember watching, I think it was the 23rd minute, and they really didn't enter a half in possession at all. The only time the ball entered our half was from a hoof, and then Van Dijk just controls it on his left pec, does 14 juggles, and then passes it off to somebody else. So, like I remember watching that just going, nah, surely not. And then you look at Danny Rose. He looked like he was just brought off from the strike on so the team bus of Watford, right, was on the way to the game, and they saw some Sunday league people playing for fun, and they said, we need a centre back. We're in trouble. Come. And that's exactly what Danny Rose looked like. I mean, I look like I said earlier. I said, and this is not a compliment, but I look like I'm in better shape than him, and that's a problem. So the way it was just, I don't know. For me, it just felt like I said, look, we'll press the restart button on Sunday, and then we'll go again for our next match.
You said something interesting before we started, James, about Ranieri being something of a free hit. Either he becomes a genius if it's a draw, and he becomes a legend if he pulls off a win, and he got neither of those two.
Yeah, exactly right. And instead, he's coming off the back of a 5-0 defeat, and that's perfect for Ranieri, because he can turn around and say, well, look at the squad that I've got, and look what I have to work with, and look at the first challenge that I have. So he was in a great place no matter what, and that just plays right into his hands to go forward from there. Obviously, the only challenge is... obviously, they've got quite a few players out injured. What do they do in that interim period? Because with the way they like to make changes at Watford, I just wonder whether they'll allow them to hang around up until Christmas, and then when the January transfer window opens, it's going to be a long time before we get there. That's for certain.
Interesting point there brought up from Rahul. He says, winning away from home is one thing, but to score 5, keep a clean sheet. Okay, it's Watford, they're in dramas, but we've gone away to teams before who have been in the scrap heap, and we've come away with a draw or drop points. And in this case here, we absolutely dominated them. And to go there with a changed midfield compared to what we normally would have, also keeping in mind we do have Champions League in a couple of days' time as well, so that maybe would have also forced Klopp's hand, even if he had some players available to him. But Kelleher in goal had nothing to do in that first half at all. Like I saw the stats at halftime. It was like 5 shots to 4 on target or something, 7 shots for us, and it was 0-0 on target or shots at from Watford. And Kelleher must have just thought to himself, like, I could do this non-stop. Who wants to speak on that?
I mean, what better? I mean, that was for him. Can you imagine him after the game there? After that, like he goes into the sheds after and just goes, "How lucky am I? Like I look like a genius. I've played one game in 6 months and I've just got a clean sheet. I think fucking look at me." So, I mean, good on him. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm happy in a way that he had nothing to do. It goes to show that the team did their job. Some people say that Watford was this, Watford was that, but at the end of the day, we were so good at suffocating Watford that they never got close enough. And towards the end, a little bit, they got, they had their chances, 1 or 2. I mean, was that enough? He did that one thing where that save where he made it look like he knew what he was doing. Whether he knew it was going out by a mile or not, who knows? But what can you say? I mean, at the end of the day, he had nothing to do, and that's good on him. He did a couple of good clearances, I remember. That's about it.
Yeah.
Seriously, he had nothing to do. So good on him.
In those instances, though, it's when your defence is that good, when your team is working that well, and you're playing against a team such as Watford in that situation. Sometimes it can be very easy to lose your concentration when you get to that 60, 70, 80 minute mark and you've only touched the ball a handful of times just to play a couple of passbacks with Van Dijk or Matip. So to still be able to be on your toes, and he did also get a fingertip save, put it onto the post with that chance late in the second half from Watford. So when you've been sitting on the bench for a long time, you've just obviously had your chance with the Republic of Ireland earlier in the week, which is good to get minutes under his belt before this game as well. As much as this was an easy one, still good to be able to turn around and say, well, at least he's focused on the game throughout the 90 minutes, because he could have sat in Madrid with Fabinho and Alisson and nobody would have realised. They could have just left an empty net and nobody would have noticed at all.
Yeah, it was almost like playing, no keepers in like a 5-a-side at one point. Mr. Steve, I'll ask you, with the changed lineup, as you said at the start of the show, the hoo-ha, there was no real backlash with the starting lineup, but did you think the midfield was as good as it could be? Because we all expected one particular player to interact, and that was Oxlade-Chamberlain. We thought this is the game for him, and evidently nothing just eventuated. So, I mean, what's now for the Ox?
You've got to say that was his opportunity to play. If he's not going to get picked in that game, when is he going to get a chance? It's your midfield's threadbare. You've got Henderson. We played obviously Henderson, Milner, Keita. You've got 2 Brexit type midfielders there, as we say, and then you had Naby, who was supposed to be sort of the one doing the movement, but it was a bit of a weird one because Milner was the one who was showing the most movement and everything. But like back to Ox, when is he going to get a chance? You've got to look at that and say, well, surely his days are numbered now. What did he get? 15 minutes at the end where he looked decent. He was trying to carry the ball forward, but if he can't get a start there, he'll probably surprise us and pick bloody Ox to play against Atletico this week.
Oh, that would be something.
I agree with you there, Steve. But look, I 100% agree with Steve. Because George was the one, tweeting that this is Ox's chance, Ox the one, Ox the revival, Ox this, Ox that, like trying to start an Ox train.
Where is he to back up his claims? Where is he? Where is he to back up his claims?
I was literally saying, don't bother, because if he doesn't start in this game where he was the only fresh midfielder outside of Milner who didn't go away on international break, then he's never going to play unless it's when who we play Preston North End next week. Yeah,
Preston,
yeah, because even in that 15-20 minutes that he played, he tried to look like he was trying to work to get the ball. Like he was, when you watch like under 15s play and the under 13s gets a chance to play in the last 10 minutes and all he does is just run to look like he's trying to impress somebody.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. Like, just chill. Like he was trying to chase everything down and he got in the way a couple of times of a few passes and opportunities. Just this is it for you. And I think the club's playing him now to kind of say, yeah, he's making Premier League appearances. Come sell him, come buy him for 20 mil.
Now, that was the question, like, where's he going to go? There was an article that came out, I think, a couple of days ago, what next for Oxlade-Chamberlain? If for all the talk that Milner, that Klopp loves to give on his plays, we know it's a tactic of his, he loves to do it, hype up a player, try and get some interest. But you got to play him, man. What's 15, 20 minutes on a pitch going to do for someone to say, yeah, we can actually use this guy in our squad? You got to start him at least. And if he's not working out, then you can hook him. But that's the question then. Is it too late if you start him and then you hook him? I don't know what happens for Chamberlain now. This was his opportunity. Even when he came on, it didn't really impress much at all. I mean, if he plays up until January, how many games effectively is he going to get?
Not many at all. And I saw rumours there's rumours flying around that Arteta wants him back at Arsenal, which would be an interesting one. But let's all be honest. Bobby stole his haircut and outshone him massively yesterday.
The Kung Fu Master bagged three.
We can't take anything away from Naby Keita, though. I mean, going back to the whole midfield thing, I think everyone has their fun with Keita. I mean, we have the most fun with Keita, all of us. But you got to give the credit where it's due because that's the whole point. Like he didn't steal the game by the collar of the neck. He didn't, he wasn't completely influential where we thought maybe he could take the game by a thing and kind of say this is his. I think was it you, Jimmy, that said this is his $60 million match kind of thing. but it's something that he was good at just progressing the ball forward. Yeah. And he didn't have to do too much, I guess, because they were so poor. But it was good to see that he just had a good match, like whether it didn't go up and down. It was just a consistent basis from start to finish, and that's his fourth game in 10 days, by the way, and that's some form of world record. So fingers crossed from now until then that the grass isn't long in Madrid because I'd play him. He'd be in starting midfield for me against Madrid.
Yeah, it's a good point, and not only that, but he played a full 90 minutes still, which I can't remember the last time I watched Naby Keita play a full 90 minutes without something going wrong. But it was, you're actually spot on. I did say that it was a £60 million match. I would have said the same about Oxlade-Chamberlain if he started, to be honest. But the best thing about it was the way that Watford set up to try and stop us actually played into his hands perfectly, because it allowed him just to do the simple stuff and allow the ball to go forward by playing those triangles out wide with Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then Mo Salah, obviously, as he always does, hugging the touchline and then starting to cut in from there. And it just allowed him to let that ball move and progress it. And then what am I going to do next? There was one or two times where he would play the ball and he would sort of stop and sit back as him and Henderson sort of rotated around who was going to play the six, which is absolutely fine. But in terms of an overall performance, it's a lot more of what we want to see from a player like Naby Keita. The challenge now is the consistency going forward as we obviously go towards Madrid and then Manchester United next, when we've still got a bit of a depleted options in midfield.
Now, when it comes to the boys playing, if it's Naby Keita, if it's Milner, I'm surprised Milner's still out there. We've got to go back to this one here. The Kung Fu Master, he's back. Surely he's back. Has to be back. Bags 3 goals. gets himself an assist as well. A 10 out of 10 performance from Bobby Firmino, and I think Pete said it in our chat. He just needs something for his confidence, and then a minute later he ends up scoring a goal. Like, Pete, how did you feel when your Bobby ended up getting that tap?
So it's funny. As basic as that goal was, I screamed so fucking loud when that went in because it wasn't. Okay, it's Liverpool score, but it was just Bobby. Everyone has this soft spot inside their heart for Bobby Firmino. But as the game was going on, I was really watching it with a group of mates, which felt good for a change in 4 months. I'm going to keep bragging about that now that we're out of lockdown. Look, during the game, it just wasn't working for him at the start. You kind of go, it's one too many passes, or he's trying to thread everything through to Salah. This is coming off, that's coming off. But then we were just talking about it. I remember our mate going, it's just not happening for him. And we said, look, he needs to do one or two good touches and then build into the game. And a minute later, he's done that nice little touch back to, I think it was James Milner, and then made his run forward to get into the box. And the touch was perfect. And we're like, that could be one. And we're trying to count how many touches until he gets back. And his second touch after that was the goal. So, and like I said, screaming so loud for Bobby because it's so good to see him start. I think we've forgotten him. I'm looking at he's the forgotten man. Because Jota's doing such a good job, but we forget just how good Bobby Firmino really, really is.
Steve, tell me, how many shots did Bobby Firmino have in this match?
I can only remember the 3 that he scored. Did he have any more?
3 shots, 3 goals. How good is that?
What a man.
I mean,
I was waiting. Like his second one was funny because I was sure they were going to disallow that one as well. The whole Salah offside position.
Actually,
what's everyone's take on that? I know we're talking about Firmino at the minute because for me, how is Salah not interfering with play? Because if Salah's not there, that defender does not make that slide.
That's what's going to ask, isn't that?
That's my
case
opinion.
Of passive offside, or did they scrap this passive offside rule now? I can't keep up with the changes these days.
From what I remember, there was a very similar situation in the international break with France and was it Belgium? Maybe I can't remember who it was, but it was
in that wasn't it in that final with Italy when Mbappe's goal?
Yeah, Mbappe's goal. So essentially, because the defenders made an attempt for the ball, it's been deemed that he wasn't interfering with play until the ball was played. So, because the reality is, you think about all the offside decisions that are made, and when the flags go up, it's not done until the player actually gets the ball and then moves forward. Because Mo Salah didn't get the ball and the defenders went and taken it, it's been deemed Mo Salah's not in play because he didn't receive the ball. Now, if that happened against us, I'd be saying every word under the sun that should not be mentioned, and it's just unfortunately it's the rules of football, and you have to accept that. It was quite funny when the commentator turned around and said this will be Watford's first stroke of luck in the game, and not happening.
Yeah,
Liverpool
Peter
have,
Drury
got another one. Yeah,
it was Peter Drury. He's like, I think this will be Watford's striker. Like, oh no, the goal's been given, and I'm thinking as well. I'm like, but Salah was offside. Surely he's interfering with play somehow. Pete, is this new? Is this new to us? Are we finally getting some luck with VAR for once?
Honestly, I can't keep up with the rules. I just can't keep up with everything. And you know what? When it happens for us, I actually don't give a shit, to be honest, because we're so used to on the other end of things. So, you know what? Was he really in the way? Did it impact the game that much? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of them ones where if it was 4 or 5-0, the game that did not impact the game in a big way. Anyway, I think the linesman, I thought the VAR, maybe the ref just said, "Oh, who cares? They're fucking losing anyway." So they're not going to complain. So it's one of them ones where I just thought, you know what? I didn't look at it. I looked at it and thought, what can it be? It can't be that bad. It can't be. He can't impact that much. If anything, Ben Foster should just hold his head up and make that. That's a simple mistake from him.
Yeah, it was a shot on goal, and he just palmed it off, and Firmino just runs in and gets himself that second goal. And when you think about it, all 3 goals were tap-ins. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's 3 goals for him.
I reckon he's a bit of competition. Didn't Dirk Kuyt have the record for the shortest distance of a hat-trick? I reckon Bobby's pretty close to that now.
Yeah, he's a hat-trick at the Suarez show against United in 2011, I think, or 10 or whatever it was. But that was crazy. And it was almost akin to that. Milner's cross, he's tapped it in. The shot, the defender's clearance off the keeper, taps it in. And then at the end of the game, Nico Williams comes on and gets himself a nice little assist with a fantastic ball across. And how did he beat his man like so smoothly, just little knock and go, and whipped it across, and Firmino gets himself a hat trick. And we also have to mention everyone was like so happy for Firmino. Everyone come along and hugged him and congratulated him, and deservedly so, because I mean, people used to say, Van Nistelrooy was, all tap-ins or whatever, but man, the guy scored goals, and you got to score the goals, and Firmino needs goals, and I'm happy he's scoring goals again.
On that statistic, on that what you just said there, Nick, after the match, this statistic popped up about Mane that blew me out the water, and I had no idea. So he's 100 goals, right? So he got his 100 goals on the weekend, which, mind you, Salah and Mane are going to be the two top scoring Africans in Premier League history in about, maybe this weekend even, because they're going to fucking send Maguire to the pie shop and back 400 times. But he's only scored 3 goals outside the box for Liverpool.
Really?
Out of those 100 goals, yes, out of those 100 goals, 3 were outside the box.
Was that one of them was against Burnley? Surely that the one where he was it Burnley where he just smacked it from outside the box when he had a bad run of form.
And he smashed it in his first time on his left foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
City was the second one in that 4-3.
Was he outside the box though? Wasn't he just inside the box when he smashes that one?
Fuck off.
Now you're testing.
So I've got it here again. I'll show you. So it goes Sadio Mane, goals 100, right foot 61, left foot 27, headed 12, inside box 97, outside box 3.
Wow.
That's
his goal yesterday was outside the box. He took it just outside, didn't he?
Nah, it was just inside, mate.
Stop trying to make things. Stop trying to prove these things wrong, Steve. Get over it, you loser.
Yeah, jeez, mate.
No. I'm saying that's one of the 3. I was trying to G that goal up.
Just because daylight savings doesn't exist up in Queensland doesn't mean that you can score inside or outside the box whenever you please, mate. Come on.
Neither do lockdowns, mate. We're all good.
Grow up.
Bring on Thursday, Christ.
But yeah, let's give it up for Mane as well. Actually, got himself a lovely goal. It's 100th in the Premier League, and Salah is now equal with Drogba's record, 104 goals. And Mane, just needs a few more here and there, and he'll lap Drogba. And everyone lauded Drogba. And I saw another stat. I think it was on Twitter. Instagram. Sorry, someone posted it. Something along the lines of Salah, Mane, and Firmino are like in our top 20 goal scorers or something, like ahead of some all-time legends. So we are literally looking at our very own legends right now, watching them live. So when you think about your St. John's, your Dalglishers, and your Gerrards and all that sort of stuff. I know we watch Gerrard, but in our current age bracket, these guys are going to be the players that the next generation is going to be talking about. So, I mean, it's nice to see our front 3 scoring goals again. Am I wrong here? So,
No.
He's a... Sorry, Jimmy, go on.
No, I was just going to say, you're absolutely spot on, and it's... I think some people, in fact, I think a lot of people, whilst we all appreciate and we're all very thankful for for what we're witnessing, I think it's still very easy for some people to take for granted, particularly Bobby Firmino. I mean, what he did yesterday in that game was just prime Bobby Firmino. Not just the 3 goals, but also the work rate when he's dropping deep to give that extra option in midfield. I think so many people actually forget what else he offers aside from goals. That there was a comment made not long ago about the fact that he isn't finding the net as often as Mo Salah or Sadio Mane or any other number 9 that you'd put on the field. But we spoke about it not long ago about the fact that when he joined Liverpool, he wasn't a striker. He wasn't actually a number 9. He was like an attacking midfield player, and he's been morphed into this sort of front utility man who can actually do so much more than just put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, he can do that. That's fantastic. But it's what he does around that allows us to play our best possible game. You look at some of our best performances that we've had in the last 4 or 5 years. Who is the man that's in the middle of those performances? It's Bobby Firmino every single time. And I think a lot of people will forget that right now and then look back when he's gone, when he retires, whatever happens in 5-10 years time, and go, oh, do you remember when we had Bobby Firmino and all these things that he used to do? It's very similar to Gini Wijnaldum when he was here, and no one really appreciated what he did, and I think now people are starting to look back and be like, oh, remember when we had Gini Wijnaldum in midfield? Maybe not after this weekend, of course, but in previous weeks for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, when everyone's fully fit, though, Firmino starts. Like, that's it. I don't care. Like, as much as I love Jota, whatever, that's fine. When everyone is fully fit and they have to play a final tomorrow, and they tell you, pick your favorite 11 for this match, Firmino starts for me 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm just going to bring this on screen just now real quick, if we can bring that. 16 Premier League goals between these three already this season. To bring up another stat just above up here, as I read it before, there's a nice little shot of Lucas there. Total goals by Firmino, Mane and Salah after 11 games in all comps. In 17-18 was 13 in over 2,000 minutes. 18-19, 10 in 2.5. 19-20, 13 in 2 and 4. 2021, 12 in 2,000. In this season so far, 22 in under 2,000 minutes. So we are absolutely pumping goals in for fun. And this was our 41st hat-trick. This was our 41st hat-trick in the Premier League, overtaking Arsenal's 40. And first top-flight side to score 3+ goals in 7 consecutive away games in all competitions.
Well, here's another one for you. Roberto Firmino has more goals than Ronaldo this year, and he's only started 2 games.
I'm sure I read somewhere that Bobby Firmino scored the same number of away goals. He scored the same number of away goals this season as Manchester City.
And United, I think it is, yeah.
Probably has, yeah.
Yeah, so
we've got...
And there's another cool stat. Sorry, Nick. There's another cool stat that Jimmy Milner on the weekend. I'm not too sure. Maybe I was still a little bit drunk when I read it. Maybe it's true or not. But on the weekend, he became the oldest Liverpool player ever to register an assist.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Milner.
I think he overtook McAllister.
I was going to say, Gary Mack surely had assists at an older age than Milner.
He was assisting on his way to get his pension. Christ.
Yeah.
He was old.
Do you know who needs to know that? Where's Statman Stubbs from the other group? He's a Statman specialist. But if I read that he may be, I think he's the oldest player to register an assist for Liverpool.
Wow. Jesus.
Give him an absolute show. What a weekend for the Reds from Dave's LFC chats. Big weekend as well, 100%. A proper poachery from Bobby, from Naman. Mate, like I said, I don't care how Bobby gets his goals. I just want him to score goals, man. That's all I care about. And we've got highlights from Kelleher's first half right here. Fantastic. Brilliant. That was his first half against Watford. It was basically he was like the keeper in your under 10s who's sitting with his legs crossed, like picking grass out, just because nothing's happening his way. So that's what was going on there.
Nick, I've got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Oosh.
And I'm going to put it at the bottom in about 3 seconds. So if you guys want to answer this question, that's totally fine. But I'm actually being serious.
They actually put an interesting stat. I think he had the most distance covered in forward attacking runs for a defender. I think over 1,000 meters covered in terms of actually attacking into the final third so far this season. That for a defender,
he's only behind Bernardo Silva and Alan Saint-Maximin.
What, in carrying the ball forward?
In meters travelled with the ball.
Wow,
boys.
That is insane.
I've got an image of the galloping gazelle in action right now. Look at that. Look at him go. Look at that. Firmino and Salah with all the hype today, but there is some rare footage captured in slow motion of the fastest giraffe on the planet.
Could you not just imagine though, like watching his runs in slow motion and listening to David Attenborough just describing it in exceptional detail?
Stop it.
See, for me,
I definitely could.
I love my highlights for Matip on the weekend were quite simple. Every time he lost it at the linesman for not putting up the flag sooner. There was maybe I think 4 or 5 times there's that famous hand wave that he does when he gets
just flaps him about.
Yeah. But all jokes aside, I mean, yes, he may win the Ballon d'Or between him, Salah, and Messi, but it's how good has he been? Honest to God, how good has this person been?
He has been.
He's been like fucking phenomenal.
We all had our doubts though. We got Konate's coming. Cool. We're gonna see a rock solid centre back pairing of Virgil van Dijk and Konate, if not for Joe Gomez. Gomez was our bread and butter a couple of years ago, and now Gomez is sitting on the bench, and Matip of all people. But he's been with us for a few seasons now. We forget he's been with us for what, 4 years now or something, and he's had
He's been there
partners
5
with,
years.
yeah, he's had partners with Lovren, with Klavan. Who else has been in his partnership there?
Gomez.
Gomez has been there. Van Dijk. What has Fabinho been centre back?
Fabinho,
Henderson's
yeah.
been centre back. Like
Probably
and
Milner
this guy's
last
like,
year.
yeah, withstood the test of time. So Nat Phillips, yeah, I mean, Williams as well, probably. I mean, look at all these players he's been with, and he still is up there. But like Pete, I have to say, you did used to give him a lot of shit, calling him, a
course we did.
cardboard, paper, because he was.
Yeah, but this is the first year he's played this many games in a row. I mean, it's not a secret. It's evident. I mean, that's what I think that's funny. I think that's what everyone's kind of like. Trust our luck. We finally saw the centre back that that we need to build the future on, and Van Dijk 2.0. We're like, finally, we have Van Dijk and Kanate going to be the two main centre backs, and the other two are just going to be understudies because Gomez with his injuries, he's still 24, whatever he is. Matip's unreliable with injury, so we don't really, he can be the fourth option. And I guarantee you, most LFC fans right now would have admit, if they if they've got the guts to admit it, that at the start of the year he would have been their fourth choice centre back. And I tell you right now, everyone here has the same opinion too, the four of us here on this screen. So this is just nothing credit to Matip. He's absolutely taken this season by storm, and he's forming this partnership with Van Dijk that I would never change it. I don't care who we play. You don't change it right now. No way.
I agree. And you look at how we've acquired them as well. What was it? Van Dijk 75 million, Kanate 40 million or 30 million pounds, whatever it was. Even Joe Gomez was 4 million, and we got Matip on a free transfer. Like that obviously it's taken a bit of time to get to where he is now, but can't complain with that result, especially with what we're seeing at the moment.
Man, but this is the thing though. You look at the defenders we've got now, like on the bench. Like last year, we had to bring in what was his name, Kabak on loan, and now he's at Norwich.
And Reece Williams.
We had to go. Yeah, Reece Williams.
Yeah.
We've had Nat Phillips, Fabinho filled in, Henderson filled in. And now we've got so many riches on the bench for defense. It's almost like you almost feel slack that you can't play them because you'd love to play them because they're going to do the job for you, but you can't put them all on the pitch. So I don't know. Do we try and maybe shift one or two into a midfield position? Maybe that might force someone's hand. Just putting it out there.
I think we just got to just play it, Steve. And I thought Steve's just going to say the same thing as me. They're just play the best ones right now because it's a long bloody season. It's only 8 games in. Way too early. We've got a lot of Champions League coming up, hopefully all the way through to the final. Hopefully we have 1 or 2 good cup runs. There are plenty of games left, and I don't want to rush in getting others playing just for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Boy, just a quick shout before we go on to the next hot topic. Probably the best player on the planet right now. Any of the defenders that we have, would you... someone mentioned it in our Red Fix the other week that Konate used to play defensive mid or could play defensive mid. Would you want to maybe see that in times of desperation if need be, or would that be a bit of a risk that we don't want to take?
Steve, if you want this one, that's all yours.
I wouldn't unless we were absolutely desperate. We'd have to be down to bare bones in midfield if you're going to be picking Kanate in there for me. Just keep him there, learn his trade at the club as a defender. Don't fuck about with any midfield random shenanigans and stuff like that, and just keep it as it is. We're going to need him there. There's going to be moments where Matip turns into cardboard again, and he's going to get moments. We've got League Cup games, FA Cup games. He might get the Champions League games. There's going to be moments from there. And I think if you start messing around with his positions, I just don't think it's going to help.
I'm not worried about him turning into cardboard. I'm worried about him being sold to Real Madrid, to be honest, on his current form.
Well, it's likely. He could be the most expensive defender in the world.
But why would you want to downgrade?
He's played against the best. I don't know. Why would you want to leave Liverpool? Good segue to the next point here. Why would anyone want this player to leave Liverpool? This guy right here, Salah, is the best player in the world, and this is real footage from his fantastic goal on the weekend. Look at that. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. training cones for days. That was his second goal. Shades of his goal against Man City just the other week. Gentlemen, Jimmy, I'll go to you first. Mo Salah, how about that touch for the assist, rolling Danny Rose first up for Mane's 100th?
I feel like I'm just having the same conversation every week, to be honest, at this stage. Every week, I just think, what more can this guy do to really show that he is currently the best player in the world? And then he does that. I mean, it probably helps that Danny Rose is about 14.5 stone of nothing but pure fat right now. But at the same time, what he is doing is just, it's almost beyond world class. And people are finally sitting up going, oh, Mo Salah's actually a really good player. We've been saying it for 5 years.
You don't say.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, real life situation. I was at my sister's earlier on for a late lunch, finally getting family back together, whatever. And my uncle was there. And my uncle's a chav, right? He's a Chelsea fan. And my cousin, Liverpool fan, care of me. He used to watch football together. So he's a Liverpool fan, so I'm great. My influence took over on him. And basically, my uncle's words were something to the effect of like, yeah, Salah's good, but like he hasn't been the best lately. And I said, sorry, what? Four seasons in a row, 20 plus goals, 30 plus goals. He's won everything there is to win in club football, and you're saying he's actually not that good. I said, mate, he is better than Prime Hazard was in his time at Chelsea. Do not miss me with that nonsense, I said to him.
Hazard was a fleeting moment, but Mo Salah is so consistently good, and he's turned up again this season, and he's just, we said it before, he's added another layer, and you just think, how much more can this guy give? The assists, the touches, the way that he just absolutely rolled 5 Watford players. We saw him do it 4 years ago when we played at home at Anfield, and he made it look so easy. And you'd think eventually people would start to take this stuff on board and try and stop him, and they just can't touch him. It is just unbelievable, the close control. He would be bloody brilliant to have in your futsal side, I can tell you that. His close control and his touch and movement is phenomenal, but I'd rather see him in a Liverpool shirt week in, week out. And he is now such a good problem for the upper echelons of Liverpool Football Club when it comes to this contract decision. They've probably already decided, it's probably already done, and they're just waiting for a rainy day. But the reality is, it's now a case of, right, well, okay, we said 300,000, well, okay, maybe he's now needing 350,000. Oh, actually, now he's needing 400,000, because every week he's just like, okay, I would just like a little bit more on top of what I'm asking, please. And I'd just like to watch the last 90 minutes as to why that is. It is absolutely phenomenal. And the reality is, we need to tie him down quickly because he is just outstanding.
It's already done. I want to pretend to be in the know. It's already done. That's it. I'm just going to pretend.
I hope so.
It's already done. I reckon they're saving for January, to be honest with you. They're saving it till January because if we don't sign anybody in January, there's going to be this huge fume. Oh, fuck FSG and fucking tight asses and this and that and whatever that comes out. And then they're just going to be like, shit, emergency, press the button. Boom, Salah. It's just, and then next thing you know, everyone's like, what transfer window?
Yeah.
So,
we're waiting. We need to announce it. Otherwise, Newcastle will come calling.
Oh, fuck me. That's another thing we've got to worry about soon.
Honestly,
I think it's done.
Later on.
Anybody who's at the end of their contract or who feels like they're being hard done by won't be doing what the fuck he's doing. There's no way. So I think it's done, and I think that this is him showing that the paying the if I'm going to be the highest paid player in Liverpool history and break all these wage structures, I'll show you why. And all of a sudden, he's turned into fucking Prime Messi.
Prime Salah.
Prime Salah.
Prime Salah.
Salah.
Just relax, because Messi is the fucking best ever put on a pair of boots, but he's turning,
Salah must prime.
He's got that stats.
Can you do it on a Saturday lunchtime kickoff in Vicarage Road, though? I don't know.
Bloody oath he can. Well, tell me, what is it about Salah and Watford? Because like you mentioned it, Jimmy, a couple of seasons ago, he scored when he took 3 defenders with him. And again, we've seen almost a carbon copy of the goal against City the other week. What is it about Salah, Steve, against Watford that just makes him score these fantastic goals? And even Peter Drury said in commentary, he goes, Salah, well, shades of the other week, he goes, he wouldn't do it again. And then he says, he has, who the hell expected him to do that twice?
I can't give any more superlatives to describe that man. He's just fucking unreal at the minute. Whether it's against Watford, as you say, from 2 years ago, now, last week, this week, I don't care who we're playing against now. I'm just expecting him to pull out some magic week in, week out. And I've missed out match debating with you guys the last couple of weeks, but I was able to match debate on my own after that goal. I was all over it. But even forget about his goal. That pass for Mane's first was just unreal. Like, he did it, and I thought, there's no way he's going to pull this off. And just the perfect touch, the perfect weight, left it easy for Mane. And by the way, just rewinding about half an hour, I've checked it while we were talking, and Mane's goal yesterday was one of those 3 outside the box.
Of course.
No.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Wow. He finishes it just outside the box.
It's
If
good
it wasn't
first
for that
time
goal,
hit
it
as
would have
well.
been 2.
Yeah.
Shit.
Keep it true. And speaking of Mane as well, he's now scored 100 goals, as we know already. But he's only the third player to reach 100 plus Premier League goals without any of them being penalties, after Les Ferdinand, who had 149 in total, and Emil Heskey, who had 110. So that's a goal scorer. No penalties, no Penaldos or Brunaldos or any of that sort of stuff here, mate. This is like straight goal scoring form here. For all the shit we give him, for all of the faults he's probably had over the last couple of seasons where he's maybe not been at his peak or whatever, man, 100 goals return, like outside the box, inside the box, I don't care. None penalties. It'd be nice if he could take a free kick though, but it's not his thing.
Yeah, that's okay. We discussed it maybe a few weeks ago. There was actually a few of us. I'll put my hand up and say it as well. I had a few concerns about his run of form at the time because he wasn't quite doing the right thing. He was taking one too many touches. Yeah. And you look at it now and you think, oh, what issue? What run of form are we worried about? Like, he's got his goal against Manchester City. He done really well in the international duty, and he had a fantastic game yesterday as well. But even then, with Mo Salah's assist, a couple of years ago, we were saying, why is Mo Salah hacking at chances? Why is he taking one touch too many? He has his moments where he still takes one touch too many, but I'm happy for him to do that once or twice because, as Steve says, we know there's magic coming in a few minutes. It is a pleasure to watch. Absolute pleasure.
He's just unreal, man. Like, and now you just can't help but think, like, what else is in store for us this season now? Because I'm going to keep saying this. We are second at the moment.
Oh, God.
Oh, he got me there.
One
I lost
day.
my train of thought now.
Free kick.
Once he scores a free kick, he'll pull the contract out of his sock and just hold it up to the camera.
Well, I think that's what FSG said. So I'm not doing this whole in the know stuff, but they tell me when Salah scores a free kick, that's when I'll give him the contract.
Give him the contract,
That's
man.
true.
He's gonna sign it. It doesn't matter. He'll get there. Remy, Mane's still not at his best, but kudos to him for reaching the milestone.
Jeez, come on, mate.
Really?
Lighten up. Honestly. What's all that
Really?
about?
Hey, man, 100 goals, 3 outside the box, no penalties, no free kicks.
What does he have
Credit,
to do?
yeah.
Open heart surgery or something like that in the middle of a game? Give him a break. He's doing fantastic.
Doing great. He's doing Mane things. He's doing Mane things. What was I going to say? That's right. Back on my thought before Peter threw me off with the free kick situation. We're second in the league now. We're second in the league. Obviously, Chelsea got their lucky win. Some will say lucky, some will say earn against Brentford, but it wasn't easy. Mendy was the man of the match for them in that game because he had to pull off a whole lot of saves because Brentford were just Brentford at home, and we bloody well know what that feels like, and so do Arsenal. And they sit on top now. But I still think that people are not really touting us as being title contenders, which is all good and well for me because that's less pressure on us and we can do our thing, which lets Salah say, no one's expecting us to win anything this season, so I'm just going to play for fun. Because sometimes, Pete, you probably know this more than anyone being a coach, when there is something riding on it, and I know this team, the mentality monsters and all that sort of thing there, still, over the last season, that could have maybe dropped. The 6 defeats at home in a row and all of that, granted circumstances aside. Is this maybe going to be the season where we sort of creep back up to that mentality monsters thing, or are we still going to go about it, just coasting along and just doing our thing and doing what we do best?
I think it's proven that we're already there. I think it's, we had a minor blip a couple of times from the season. We kind of dropped the ball first half versus City, second half versus Chelsea, and the Brentford game as a whole. Other than those kind of three moments off the top of my head, can't really see us putting a foot wrong. I mean, we've scored 3+ goals how many times this year already? So, you know what I mean? It's one of them ones where I just think that we're kind of in that zone. And what it looks like just from the outside, like being, you know, and when I say outside, especially us being so far on the outside all the way in Australia, but it kind of just looks like they're in their own little zone of a bubble, the whole group, Klopp, the players, and they're kind of like, I don't give a shit what's happening outside this zone. I don't care what City's doing. I don't care how people are calling Tuchel the best thing since sliced bread. I don't care about Cristiano Ronaldo doing jumping celebrations and putting his own face on his shin pads. We don't care about what's happening here around the whole world. We just care about what's happening within this zone. And at the moment, it just feels like everybody's locked in. Everybody's locked in. And you know what? Going back to your question, Nick, we'll find out because these next two games, you couldn't ask for a harder week of games, both being away. So, you know, away to Atletico and then away to United. I mean, put form aside when you play United. I don't care what anybody says. And we will make jokes about Maguire's fat head and all that other stuff. But when it's Liverpool versus United, you don't know what's coming. You just don't know. So we'll find out this week just how locked in we are.
It's an interesting one that we can probably touch on the Atletico game because it's only a couple of days away, and you're going to be doing a training ground for that as well, I believe.
Yeah. So for the first time, we're going to do a live one, actually. So we're going to do a live training ground and it's going to be good for the UK people watching because it's going to be perfect time for them. It'll be about 9 p.m. in the UK, about 7 a.m. over here for us. So the Aussie people probably complain because it's too early, but you can always go back and watch it. But for the UK folks, perfect time for them, 9 p.m. after dinner. What better things to do? And then watch us talk shit about Atletico Madrid.
Because they're coming in, like you said, couldn't ask for a harder couple of games in a week of football. Again, away to Atletico, who got one over of us a couple of seasons ago. Manchester United, you're playing them at Old Trafford. Like you said, doesn't matter what form they're in, whether they got pumped 4-2 by Leicester, whether they're in for a bit of a hard game themselves against Atalanta. Maybe they bounce back, maybe they don't. But for Alisson and Fabinho and the other boys who are in Spain already, they're going to be playing again against Atletico, and I think they're going to be ready for it. But you think that we're going into this with lots of confidence, no doubt. And for you specifically, is this going to be, if we drop points in this game against Atletico, say it's a draw, do you think that changes anything for the approach going to Old Trafford?
Nah, not really. I don't know if you boys got another opinion, but I don't think so.
Steve?
Straight to the point. No, I agree. I don't see. Just keep going as we are, and like Pete mentioned it there briefly a minute ago, like the form goes out the window when it comes to Liverpool United, but we just carry on as we are, and I think we'll have too much from. I'm not sure what Remy was saying in that comment there. What was that from the last one? Man United is going to be the determinant. Okay.
Oh, okay, so like the players we've got, because look, let's be real here. They've bought big players and they're just not working.
And I kind of agree to an extent.
Yeah. Maguire shouldn't have played against Leicester.
Sancho he was still terrible.
Has got no idea. Ronaldo not doing much. The only player really doing things for them is De Gea when he's not conceding goals, and Greenwood scoring bombs from outside the box. But it's an interesting one there because we're going to go there and they're in all sorts. I've been watching Man U fan channels throughout the day, which is nothing better. It's almost akin to Arsenal fan TV when Arsenal are in the shit. It's fantastic because some of them are saying like give Ollie time, some of them are saying like nah, he's got to go, but you're still there or thereabouts. It's not all doom and gloom at the moment, but it's getting there. And last time we played United, when a manager was on the rocks, he ended up losing his job, a la Mourinho. I don't think if we do get the result on Saturday or Sunday, even though it's still obviously a week away, I don't think that changes much for United's point of view. But for ourselves and Liverpool's point of view, that's big because we get to win away at Old Trafford with Ronaldo coming back, with arguably the best United squad they've had in the last 4 or 5 years, with player-wise, and it's just another statement that we mean business this season.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be huge. I mean, it's always huge for us if we win at Old Trafford, but I think this one in particular just obviously carries a little bit more. I think mostly the fact that there's a corner of Manchester United fans, a big corner of Manchester United fans, who genuinely think they're going to be title contenders this season because they've brought in a 36-year-old £500,000 a week player who throws his dummy out the pram if things don't go his way. And I think that plays into our hands perfectly. I think if we keep going with the way we are, we can build up really good momentum through the week. I know Madrid's going to be a real tough ask, but I think we can get a result if we really try. Even getting a point and a good performance would be satisfactory. But when it comes to playing at the weekend, and you've said it yourself already, and we've discussed this on the Red Fix, I think we discussed it with Jay, but individual quality is a great thing to have. But if you are not a cohesive team like what Liverpool are, particularly when Liverpool's at their best, there's no point. You're not actually playing for anything. And that could play right into our hands perfectly come next weekend. So really looking forward to that. It's still going to be a challenge. Obviously, it's still got a fantastic bunch of players that you have to come up against. But I've said it before. There's an ego issue that goes on in that dressing room, I think. And when you've got someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trying to contain that and manage that, I just
no chance.
I just can't see how that would ever happen. I think that's absolutely impossible. And I think the best thing they can do is I think they can keep him on as manager. I think that would be absolutely fantastic for everyone. Yeah.
Well, I think they've got no choice. I don't think they have a choice, to be honest with you, because if you look at it, it's probably going to cost a little bit to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So and they're already paying out of their ass to keep, Sancho on his wages and Varane on his wages, Ronaldo on his wages, De Gea on his wages, all these people on such ridiculous wages. So I don't think they can afford to sack him. I know that Doug over here could be the final nail in the coffin for the Norwegian golem, but I don't think they can afford to get rid of him because then they have to go and buy someone else and pay their wages. So I think if we do beat them, though, I think that's them out of the title race completely already. I think that kind of just does that. See you later, because they'll be 7 points away from us, and I just don't see that ever getting closed up at all. But again, I know Steve said it earlier. I said it earlier. Liverpool versus United, I don't think form is something to play, whether Gollum is your manager or Pogba changes his haircut. So I just it's one of them ones. I hate versus United, and it's the first match I look forward to on the fixture list when that comes out. And it's the only match I struggle to sleep with a few days before the match actually happens. It's something that there's something in that match I can't explain it in words, but I really have a hard time watching that match.
Well, fingers crossed everything works out well in Atletico. When I say works out well, no players sidelined or anything like that. Touch wood, say your prayers, whatever it is you got to do your thing to make sure nothing goes wrong, because we're going to need these players when we take on United. And if United do come out in a defensive fashion, which they might do, and that's not going to bode well for the Old Trafford faithful. But before that, we've got the trip to Atletico in a couple of days' time, back to the Wanda Metropolitano, where we won number 6. Big Ears came home for the 6th time. Boys, because we're only a couple of days away, what are you picking from this game? Pete, I'll go to you first.
I think I'm going to save my true opinion for the training ground when we go live for that. But because they had a weekend off, right? They didn't have any matches this week, so
they didn't play. Yeah.
So they're a lot more fresh than we're going to be. But at the same time, did we really play a match? Let's be honest.
We weren't really pushed, were we?
Yeah. So
Salah scored against training cones. What are you talking about?
Well, I was just about to say that for me was a training match pace anyway. So I think we had to do 2 or 3 sprints in the entire game. So yes, we played, but we didn't really play. They had the whole weekend off. Look, I've still got PTSD a little bit from that last time we played Watford and Atletico in the same week. So far, so good. But it's just that match you don't know, because I was just doing a bit of research, and I'll just give you a bit of insight now for what we're going to touch on. So if you look at Barcelona, they played Barcelona, they won 2-0. He played a 3-5-2. Then you look at the few days before he versus AC Milan, he played 4-4-2. You look at the weekend before, he plays 4-2-3-1. So he doesn't have like what we know. We play 4-3-3. The earth could be falling apart, and the earth, and to stay alive, you have to change formation. No, we're 4-3-3. He's every single week. It's almost like he changes the formation, and mind you, the starting 11s are never always the same. So fucking headache for us, right? But it's something that it kind of will change according to who he's playing. So in my opinion, now going off the research that I did before we jumped on here, he will probably go 5 at the back, maybe like a 3-5-2, so to speak, with 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs to nullify and double up on Mane and Salah on either side. So have 2 players marking them. So, yeah, but I don't know. I'm going to save this for later. You boys can take over from here.
Steve, what do you reckon? Remy says we're going to stun Atletico.
I'd love if we did. I joined you boys on the Red Fix the week before you had Jay on, and I said from Watford and Atletico, I would snap your arm off now for 4 points from those. And I'm still the same now. I'd happily take a draw in that game. We've set ourselves up nicely with the first 2 wins, so a draw away from home there is no shame at all. So I'd happily take that. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be interesting to see Suarez again. But yeah, I'd take a nice 1-1 draw right now. I'd do, and I'd say, yeah, thank you very much. Move on to United.
Mr. Nicholson, what's your take on Atletico away in the Champions League?
Just copy and paste what Stephen said, to be honest. I would quite happily go to the Wanda Metropolitano, talk about how great it was 2 years ago when we won the Champions League, walk away with a point. Everyone's still fresh, everyone's still fit, no injuries, and then we're ready for Manchester United at the weekend. And then obviously when Atletico come back to Anfield, then we can really go all in and take the 3 points and qualify for the next round. I'll be a very happy man in those circumstances.
Fantastic. I think we're all very happy Reds right now. Remember, we said it the other week that result away at Brentford, it was going to be forgotten. I think George said it, if we win against Watford and Atletico and all that sort of stuff, no one's going to care about it. At the moment, we're not caring about it because we've done so well. And look, we're still the only team in the Premier League that has not lost a match thus far. We've got the most goals at the moment, 22 goals for, 6 against. So the defense isn't too bad, but there are a couple of teams who are better off defensively, like Chelsea and City for the meantime. But scoring goals for us is not a problem. Everything else looks to be looking fine. The players in Spain are waiting for us to arrive and do the Atletico thing, and a couple of days break in between, and then it's to the old enemy, to Old Trafford we go. So, any final decisions? Any final comments or thoughts, Mr. Nicholson? Yes, you have the floor.
Just the one interesting stat, probably the most pointless stat you could have tonight, but I'll put it out there nonetheless. Cristiano Ronaldo's last game against Liverpool for Manchester United was a 4-1 loss at Old Trafford when Fabio Aurelio scored that fantastic free kick, and Andrea De Sena, quite possibly the greatest unknown player that we've ever had in the last 10-15 years, scored that last-minute lob against Van der Sar. So a repeat would be absolutely lovely.
He scored against United and Real Madrid in the same week.
And then retired. And then he retired after that. Yeah.
That's it. I've peaked. I'm over it. Let's
just flip it up.
I've got a question.
Just someone who can score against Atletico and United.
Yeah, it's another Madrid team, and then United again away. Ooh.
Simicast.
So whoever scores against Madrid is going to score against United. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Simicast.
Yep.
Fuck, my God, does he need to play soon? But anyway, that's another story. So, I've got a question before we head off then. Picture midfield 3 versus Atletico.
Ooh.
Midfield 3.
Fabinho, Henderson.
Which is kind of this
Keita.
comment here from Steve, from Slevin here. So if we control the game like yesterday, we get away. Okay, so to control the game, you need a top midfield. Who would your midfield 3 be?
What's the latest with Thiago? Is he touch and go, or is he back?
I think he's waiting for United. I think he's already at Old Trafford, just waiting.
See, I'd like Thiago to be fit, because he's the sort of player in there who can just control that midfield.
He's built for this game.
Yeah, if he's fit, then it's Fabinho, Thiago. I'd go Naby, just based on his performance. Those 3. If Thiago's not fit, then you'd go Fabinho, Hendo, and Naby as a guess.
Yeah, potentially. Just thinking what Atletico are going to try and bring to the game, because they're going to try and get stuck, and they're going to try and make it difficult for us. And I think Klopp will go with a trusted midfield of Fabinho in the 6th row, and I think he would probably deploy Milner and Henderson. I think he would go with Milner for the experience and the grit. Whether that, because I was just thinking on the weekend he came off after 65 minutes. I was just wondering if he was maybe thinking about Wednesday, because we know Milner will be 45 and he'll still be the fittest player in the team. I have a feeling that's what he's going to go with.
So I have a problem with that. Just quiet. Because
I didn't say I liked it. I didn't say I liked it. I'm just saying that's what I think.
Like, it's not because of any other reason other than, for example, if they say nullified Trent, right? If they nullified Trent, who else is the creative outlet? Apart from Van Dijk, who has to do a 65-meter pass, which is unbelievable, by the way. I just feel like there has to be that one player in the midfield three that has to give us something. And I like Steve's opinion on having, Keita and Thiago as the two with Fabinho behind. I think Henderson as the 6 on the weekend played well because he had to hold his position. I think the way he's been playing on that right side at 8 this season alone, he hasn't been the best, and I don't care how that sounds. He has not been the best at playing on that right side. I mean, we saw against AC Milan, Brentford, Manchester City. He just doesn't – I don't know what it is this year potentially, but maybe just needs a rest. Who knows, because he has played a lot of games, but I would like to see a change. I don't think we will get one. I think we will see Fabinho, Henderson, and Naby Keita on the weekend.
That was going to be my pick. That was going to be my pick. Yeah, I think Atletico, the weekend. I think depending on what happens against Atletico will dictate what happens against United, potentially. But then again, if you do get a surprise comeback from Jones, who's also got a bit of a knock, if Thiago decides that he's fit again or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that could always change. It's basically what you need. You control the midfield. But do you really expect Atletico to be coming at you all guns blazing? I don't think so.
No, it'll be a counter-attack game. It'll be a counter-attack game and a slow build-up from them. Or it's either going to be a quick counter-attack or very slow build-up with runners playing off Suarez and Griezmann. So, it's just something again. But that's been our weakness lately. It's been runners. We haven't been able to track the runners. Midfield. So, and that's been probably our Achilles heel this year. I mean, if Brentford can score 3 goals against us by doing that, AC Milan scored 2 by doing that. You look at City's goal again. Runners from midfield, it damaged us. So, again, I look at that and I think if we can manage that, I don't think we'll lose a game at all.
Bold.
If we can manage it.
The coach has spoken. Boys, I think we'll wrap it up there. We've reached the hour and 2 minutes mark. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining me this evening in a grand match debating session. 5-star performance against Watford. Firmino scoring 3 goals. That's a match debate in itself. Mane getting his 100th in the Premier League. Salah doing Salah things, scoring. Klopp, gobsmacked. Kanate had no idea what was going on. It was fantastic to see everyone just absolutely losing their shit from another fantastic goal from the best player in the world, which Klopp reckons he is at the moment. On form, at least, you would probably say. And Atletico Madrid in a couple of days' time. And then the big one against the Norwegian Golems, Manchester United. And is Ronaldo going to have shin pads with his face on them on the weekend? We shall wait and see. Gentlemen, thank you very much to all the people watching. Thank you. Do appreciate you joining us this morning for your match debate. And there is still more Premier League to come. I think the new Galacticos Newcastle taking on the pittance of Tottenham Hotspur in a few hours' time. So interesting to see what happens in the morning there. But that's it from us. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And Training Ground is on live as well tomorrow, Peter.
Tuesday morning for us and Tuesday night for the UK folk.
There you go.
That'll be Monday night.
Is it Monday night, is it?
Yeah, because they're behind. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's the other way around. No, yeah. So Monday night for the UK, Tuesday morning for us. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say you're going to do it during the Champions League. Yeah. You're going to be doing it during a Champions League match live or something. Far out. And also we do have the Redfish as well on Wednesday to discuss said Champions League match, and then look forward to United in the build up and look at the United situation with their Champions League and all that good stuff. Well, boys, I'll wrap it up there. Enough waffling. Thank you very much, and to everyone once again, big weekend for the Reds coming up. Till the next one, I suppose we shall see you all later.
Tell the world.